In today's show, a surprise Pentagon summons, a deadly ICE sniper plot, and the Ryder Cup kicks off in New York with President Trump expected in the crowd. Plus, TikTok stays in America. A quick-thinking DoorDash driver stops a crime in Texas, and a California jewelry store sees a $1 million heist. And the trivia question, in English vocabulary, what is a contronym? I'll tell you at the end of the show. It's Friday, September 26th. This is the Flyover Podcast. Welcome to the Flyover Podcast, taking you above the noise for an unbiased, high-altitude view of today's headlines with daily coverage that's honest and refreshing. Let's cruise the news and land the facts. Hello, happy Friday, and welcome back to the Flyover Podcast. I'm your weekday host, Ayla Brown. Thanks to Amy Hess for filling in for me yesterday. Grab your coffee and let's take off with the biggest headlines of the day. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth has called the nation's top military officers to a surprise in-person meeting next week in Virginia, including top officers overseeing troops in conflict zones. The purpose of the meeting was not disclosed. The order applies to officers with the rank of brigadier general or above or their Navy equivalent, along with their top enlisted advisors. About 800 generals and admirals are spread across the world. Military leaders are said to be worried by the directive, with some fearing the announcement of another reduction in force. In May, the Defense Department cut about 100 general and admiral positions. President Trump downplayed the event, saying, quote, "You act like this is a bad thing. Isn't it nice that people are coming from all over the world to meet?" Next, the FBI unveiled evidence Thursday indicating that the sniper who attacked the Dallas Immigration and Customs Enforcement facility carefully plotted the attack to incite terror. The shooter was identified as 29-year-old Joshua Yan. Yan, a native of Collin County, Texas, killed himself at the scene after murdering one migrant detainee and wounding two others. FBI Director Kash Patel said investigators had found a handwritten note from Yan that began, quote, "Hopefully this will give ICE agents real terror to think. Is there a sniper with AP rounds on that roof?" Patel also said the gunman searched for videos of Charlie Kirk's assassination in Utah ahead of his attack in Dallas on Wednesday. And a photo posted on X by Patel showed what appeared to be rifle-caliber ammunition affixed to a clip engraved with an anti-ICE message. In lighter news, the Ryder Cup, golf's most patriotic event, begins today at Bethpage Black in New York as Team USA faces Team Europe in a highly anticipated showdown backed by a loud American home crowd. Held every 2 years, the event features 24 of the world's best golfers competing in team-based match play across 3 days. Team USA leads the all-time series, 27-15. The European team, though, won the last cup in 2023. President Trump plans to attend at least one of the days. And fans, they'll pay $750 to get through the gates at Bethpage, but tickets include unlimited free concessions. However, beers start at $15 and cocktails climb as high as $29. Here are your top political headlines. The White House is warning agencies to brace for a possible government shutdown. A new memo tells every department to start drafting layoff plans in case Congress doesn't pass a funding bill before the new fiscal year begins October 1st. Treasury officials told Reuters that even a short shutdown could delay some federal paychecks and slow loan processing for small businesses. In tech news, the Trump administration says it's teaming up with Elon Musk's xAI to bring its Grok artificial intelligence engine into federal agencies. The goal is to speed up everything from paperwork processing to cybersecurity alerts. And Axios reports the partnership is expected to roll out first at the Department of Energy. Meanwhile, Senators Bernie Sanders and Elizabeth Warren are raising red flags about sports mega mergers. They signed a letter to Disney, ESPN, the NFL, and Major League Baseball, questioning whether proposed joint ventures could hurt competition or drive up prices for fans. An early sign the Justice Department could take a closer look. And finally, the White House debuted a lighthearted but pointed new attraction, a presidential walk of fame outside the Oval Office featuring portraits of every U.S. president except Joe Biden. In his spot hangs a photo of an auto pen signing his name, a not-so-subtle jab at the former president's well-known reliance on the device. President Trump and his allies have often cited Biden's auto pen use to question whether aides were making key decisions on pardons and other executive actions during his time in office. See the video of the reveal in the show notes below. Here are some podcast extra stories. President Trump has signed an executive order approving a deal that will keep TikTok available in the U.S. Under the agreement, TikTok will be spun off into a U.S.-based company with U.S. investors taking a majority stake, while ByteDance retains less than 20% ownership. The move is meant to comply with the 2024 law requiring TikTok's Chinese parent to divest or face a nationwide ban. The deal also gives Oracle responsibility for securing U.S. user data and retraining a version of TikTok's algorithm domestically. A DoorDash driver in Sweetwater, Texas, helped uncover a hostage situation after delivering a suspicious order to a motel on Monday morning. Police say the driver grew uneasy about the delivery and called authorities, though officials haven't revealed exactly what items were ordered. Witnesses reported the delivery included things like zip ties, trash bags, bleach, and a hatchet. When officers arrived, they found a hostage inside the room and safely rescued the person, who was then arrested on an outstanding warrant. The suspect, a man from Snyder, Texas, was taken into custody after a brief standoff with local police and state troopers. And nearly 24 people carried out a smash-and-grab robbery at a jewelry store in California, stealing around $1 million worth of jewelry. Police say the group of about 25 suspects stormed the store armed with at least 3 guns and smashed display cases with crowbars and pickaxes. Automatic doors briefly trapped the thieves inside, but they managed to escape after one suspect fired at the exit, and the group fled in 6 getaway cars, several of which were stolen. So far, authorities have arrested 7 suspects ranging in ages from 17 to 31 and recovered some of the jewelry along with 2 firearms used in the crime. Still to come, 2 NFL teams have sold a minority stake in their teams. I'll tell you what ones. Plus, researchers at the University of Minnesota have created 3D printed skin that looks and behaves like real tissue. And I'm curious what you think of this. It's all coming up. Do you want to make your spouse feel loved, appreciated, comforted? It's time to get them the gift of Cozy Earth's Viscose from Bamboo sheets. They're temperature regulating, comfy, and somehow manage to wick away the heat and humidity. And their bubble cuddle blanket, it is the kind of throw that you buy for your significant other, but you secretly just keep it for yourself because it's plush, mid-weight, and has this textured bubble design that is so ridiculously soft. So if you're curious about the sheets or the bubble cuddle blanket or any of their amazing products, they make it easy to try. There's a 100-night sleep trial and a 10-year warranty, so you can test it without risk. Head to CozyEarth.com and use the code FLYOVER for 40% off. Did you hear me? What I just said there? 40% off. That is an incredible deal. Your bed should be more than just a place to sleep. It should be the best part of your day, and Cozy Earth can help make that happen. The link to take advantage of this offer is in the show notes. And don't forget to use the code FLYOVER for that 40% off. In finance, the U.S. economy delivered a surprise jolt in the second quarter, growing 3.8%, well above forecasts. Economists told CNBC that strong consumer spending and a dip in imports helped power the bigger-than-expected number, calming some recession fears for now. In Seattle, Amazon agreed to pay $2.5 billion to settle a high-profile case over its Prime membership practices. The FTC accused the company of using dark patterns to sign people up and make cancellation difficult. About 35 million customers will see roughly $1.5 billion in refunds as part of the deal. And Starbucks is slimming down its corporate ranks again. The coffee giant plans to cut 900 non-retail jobs and close some underperforming stores as part of a $1 billion restructuring, following 1,100 corporate layoffs earlier this year. Analysts say it's a sign the company is trying to shore up profits as sales growth cools. And here's your stock market update from yesterday. The Nasdaq dropped 0.50%, S&P 500 slipped 0.50%, and the Dow Jones lost 0.38%. In commodities, Bitcoin slid 3.67%, and gold rose 1.34% to $3,782 per ounce. Big mover of the day was CarMax. The company tumbled approximately 20% after reporting weaker than expected earnings for its latest quarter. In sports, New England Patriots owner Robert Kraft is cashing in on a piece of the team. He agreed to sell a minority share at a price that values the franchise at a record-breaking $9 billion. 5% minority stake was sold to billionaire Dean Metropoulos and a 3% stake to the private equity firm 6th Street. Not to be outdone, the Chicago Bears reportedly sold a minority stake of their own, pegging the team's value at $8.9 billion, a huge jump from the $6.4 billion CNBC estimated just a year ago. Forbes notes that an escalating media rights deal and new stadium plans are fueling these eye-popping numbers across the league. But over in baseball, Seattle Mariners catcher Cal Raleigh joined an elite club last night, crushing his 60th homer of the season. Only 6 other players in MLB history have reached that mark, and his 2 blasts helped Seattle clinch the AL West title in a 9-2 win over the Rockies. And in a piece of sports history you can hang on your wall, the skateboard Tony Hawk used to land the world's first ever 900 trick just sold at auction for $1.15 million, double the pre-sale estimate, according to ESPN. It's now one of the most expensive skateboarding collectibles ever sold, and you can check it out in the show notes below. In science and tech, Russia's Noah's Ark biosatellite is back on Earth after spending 30 days in orbit, carrying 75 mice, 1,500 fruit flies, seeds, and microbes. Scientists will now study how the animals and organisms handled microgravity and cosmic radiation, with hopes of learning more about how space travel affects living systems. Meanwhile, researchers at the University of Minnesota have created 3D printed skin that looks and behaves like real tissue. Surgeons can use it for patient-specific training, and scientists say it's a major step toward eventually printing synthetic organs for transplants. What do you think about that? I would love to hear your comments in the comments section. Here are a few shorter stories that we thought you should know about today, like this. Wildlife officials in Maine spent 5 hours rescuing a bull moose that had fallen into a 9-foot abandoned well near Pembroke. They sedated the animal, used an excavator to lift it out, and sealed the well. Thankfully, the moose ran off unharmed. My 3-year-old son would have loved to forget about the moose. He would have loved to see the excavator pull the moose out. Next, in Las Vegas, police arrested a teen hacker accused of breaking into MGM Resorts and Caesars systems, causing about $100 million in damage by disabling slot machines, hotel key cards, and booking systems. Investigators say the teen bragged online before the arrest. Back in Alaska, Fat Bear Week is underway at Katmai National Park. Fans can now vote for the brown bear that best exemplifies fatness and success after a summer of salmon feasting. Want to vote for the fattest, cutest bear? Of course, we'll put the link in the show notes. And on the entertainment front, Disney and Lucasfilm dropped the first teaser for The Mandalorian and Grogu, the first Star Wars movie to hit theaters in 6 years, slated for a May 2026 release. And finally, Amazon MGM Studios confirmed the cast for Spaceballs 2. Rick Moranis, Bill Pullman, Daphne Zuniga, and producer Mel Brooks are all coming back for the sequel to the 1987 cult classic parody. Here are the results of yesterday's poll question with Amy Hess. Do you still use matches? 43% said occasionally, 30% said yes, and 27% said no. I'm also one of the majority. I use them occasionally. Thank you to everyone who voted. And here's today's poll question. How many states have you visited? 1 to 10? 10 to 20, 20 to 30, 30 to 40, 40 to 49, or all 50 states? You can vote in the show notes below. But for me, there's only 8 states that I have not been to: Montana, Idaho, Wyoming, South Dakota, North Dakota, Utah, Nebraska, and maybe Missouri. I don't remember if I've been to Missouri, so I'm going to just count it as no. And that's 42 states that I've been to. What about you? Who's got me beat? You can vote in the show notes, and I'll read the answers because I'm filling in for Amy Hess in tomorrow's show. Here's your trivia. In English vocabulary, what is a contronym? The answer? It's a single word that has 2 meanings that contradict each other. For example, the word sanction means to give permission and also to forbid it. Cleave means to cut in half, cleave in two, but also to stick together, cleave something. Something that's fast can be stuck firmly or be moving quickly. I know it's a little confusing, but context determines which meaning prevails with contronyms. That's going to be it for today's flyover. Now that you've finished with the headlines, head on over to the Feel Good Flyover with Amy Hess. She has a great dose of stories that will make you feel positive, inspired, and hopeful. And as I said earlier, I'm filling in for her tomorrow, so I will be back here bright and early with more fun, news, and trivia. Don't forget to share, subscribe, and leave a review. Thanks for flying with us.